Alright, we're going to be spending just a few minutes looking at Moodle, which is a program very similar to Blackboard. We're going to be using it to teach most of our classes. This first video here is just going to be a broad overview, and after this we'll get into the more detailed functions of what you're actually going to need to create and manage your classes. Now the page you're looking at here is the front login page. We'll look more at this detail in a minute, but the very first thing you want to do, you notice here under username and password, is your login. Just go ahead and provide the username and password that you've been given, and then log in, and then you'll be taken to the actual administrative type page. This is what everyone sees, and depending on whether you're an administrator or a student or a teacher, you're going to see different things. But for you, you're going to see the site news in the middle, and this is everybody sees this. Any particular information that's going on that everybody needs to see will be right here in the middle. I want you to notice the calendar block off here to the right. Pay really close attention to this. This is a fantastic feature. Other than telling you what day it is, if you see any dates with red, you can highlight that. It'll tell you everything that is due on that particular day. You notice that we have set up some test courses last week while we were working some of the kinks out, and these were some of the assignments that were due on, in this case, March 1st. And you move on, and every single time you create an assignment, anytime a student logs in, they're going to see this. Everything's going to come up there. Likewise, they have the upcoming event block on the right hand side towards the bottom. Top left hand, you have a main menu. Any public forums you have access to, you can click those and see what's going on. And then probably the most important block right here for this page is the My Courses. Whatever courses that you're enrolled in or you're teaching will be right here immediately in this block. You can click all courses and see everything that's publicly available right now. In this case, you want to go ahead and click the course. I've created one test course so we can see what's going on how it works. But you click the course that's yours, that you want to edit, or that you want to see, or you want to take, whatever you're enrolled in. You click that, and this is going to take you to the actual course tab, course page rather. A lot of this is you recognize. This is similar to some of the Blackboard things you've seen before. It's very similar in a lot of ways, so this shouldn't require a very large learning curve. Here in the middle is the most important section. This is a skeleton right now. There's nothing in it. This is an 11-week course and we'll work on creating content, but this is what the students will see. Every single week they'll have their next content come up. Every single week the next one will become available, all the way down to the end, and your job is just to populate it, and so that each week the next block comes up. Now again, as you notice, Moodle works in blocks. So on your top left is your participants block. These are all your students. You have an activities block, which we'll talk about more later. This is any quizzes, any forums, any discussion boards, any particular assignments you have will be there. Search bar for the forums if you do a lot of those. The administration block is probably your most important. As a teacher, you've got a lot of things. An instructor, you've got a lot of things in here that we'll have to talk about. Again, there's your My Courses block. You go to the top again, any news that's there, any upcoming events. Again, going back to the calendar idea we talked about earlier. And then recent activities, particularly interesting. You can see what everybody is doing in your class in the last, I think, like 24 hours or so. A really important aspect of this page is you want to actually start making edits, and again we'll talk about this more later, is you're always going to want to click turn editing on. You're going to notice you're going to get some funny little icons. We'll explain what all these mean, but this is basically how you start adding things and taking away things, and how you really start populating your course. Turn editing off to go back to the other view, and then if you want to see what students would see, you can click your down arrow, switch role to, and you click student, and you can see what a student will see when they were to log into your class. You can always get an idea of what's going on. Alright, and with that, so that's just a real quick general overview. The next several tutorials we're going to post that you're going to have access to are going to give you very specific details on how to do specific things.